Hello again. Welcome to Wessex Ways episode...
Wow. 34?
34. Or is it season 2, episode 2?
Season 2, episode 2. Season 2 is officially titled A New Hope.
Is it? Are we going to roll the music?
Yeah, well, about the music, Hedley, there's a little bit of a problem. I kind of think one day we might be able to monetize this. And if we do monetize this, I'll be in a little bit of trouble because the music we used to use was not necessarily copyright free. But we'll move on from that subject pretty quick and start talking about Wessex Ways.
Yes. Okay, well, yes, Wessex Ways episode whatever. So, yeah, you've lots of videos out.
I often do that, Hedley.
You do that. I've noticed that. You're getting quite good at it.
I mean, you do too.
I do now. I do. I've got 2 YouTube channels. Not that I would ever promote Hills and Hill Forts on here or the Hedley Thorneh
No, don't
channel.
promote the YouTube channel Hills and Hill. How do you spell Hills and Hill Forts?
H-I-L space.
And Hill Forts. Yeah. Okay, don't promote that on here because that's the wrong thing to do. That's not what we're here for.
No. But no, I was going to quiz you on your last video actually. So you were talking. Well, give us some background. It's about a cursus. So what is a cursus first?
Well, probably not the way I pronounce it because let's just quickly dive into the pronunciation because I know archaeologists that pronounce it cursus, and cursus. They're all respected archaeologists in their field. They all pronounce it differently. So does anyone really know? No is probably the answer, unless you know Latin as it was spoken back then. People say there was a hard C, but then you still pronounce Circus Maximus with a circus. So circus. S almost. Yeah. So is cursus correct? Yeah. Probably. But then you go on to Google and you say, how do you pronounce cursus? And it says cursus. So who cares? Because this is, I'm just going down a rabbit hole here for no
But it's not like a circus where there's jugglers and clowns and lions and tigers.
You say that, Hedley, you say that because that's what William Stukeley thought it was.
Really?
As per my waffles in this video, William Stukeley was the first person to discover and formally document the Stonehenge cursus.
Okay.
So he found this cursus. So a cursus is basically a huge earthwork that is, what shape do you want to call it?
So it's kind of stretched rectangular, isn't it?
Stretched rectangular, that's good, yeah. So 80 metres apart, 80 to 90 metres in terms of one way, but like 2 kilometres in the other.
And to be clear, these are usually, from going by your videos, in relatively flat landscapes. We're not talking about hilltop stuff.
Yeah. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do a video on one that's much longer than the Stonehenge cursus. I'm going to do a video on the Dorset cursus because that is not only 3 times, it's more than 3 times longer. It's about 6.5 miles long. So somebody at some point prior to our birth on this earth, not so many years ago, decided to build a 6.5 mile long earthwork. But not just that, like as you said, Hedley, a rectangular earthwork, 6.5 miles long. Mad. So that's what a cursus is.
So fairly labour intensive then.
Well, they suggest 500,000 working hours to build it.
Right. Okay.
I mean, pick how many people built it. I don't know.
500,000. No, we did a calculation on this last one.
Did we? Should we do it again?
Right.
Give me a number of people then, Hedley.
Right. So let's say 300 people.
So divided by 300 people. That's 1,666 hours per person. If we divide that by how many hours you're going to do, how many hours labour are you going to do in a day, Hedley?
Well, back then it's probably more than now. I mean, my shifts at work are 12.5 hours.
Right,
so
let's
round it up. Round it down to 12.
12 equals 138 days.
Yeah.
Non-stop. If there's, how many people did you say?
I can't.
God,
I think it was in the hundreds. But anyway,
a lot of time.
That gives me an idea. So
so that's what they reckon. That's how long they reckon it took to build this. Now I saw a website which documented every cursus in the country, and it's like 60.
Really?
Yeah, of varying lengths. Some are like a mile long.
And are they mostly in the south, or are they all over?
That's a great question. I don't think they are. I think they're quite sporadic. I think the ones I know of are in the south because I live in the south of England. But there's a few up north as well, and I know someone, I can't tell you where at the moment, but I know someone, and you know someone, who has found a new one.
Ooh. Dr. Wendy?
No. Our mutual friend Clifford.
Oh, Clifford Jones.
So I can't tell you where, I can tell you, Hedley, but I'd have to keep it very secret for my listeners. I'd have to shoot you afterwards and then shoot all of our listeners, all 4 of them.
And then I'd die in Andover. That's embarrassing.
You'd die in Andover? Yeah. I mean, there's so many different... Anyway, he thinks he's found a new... I mean, the LiDAR looks good.
Yeah.
to put it mildly. So there's another one. So it could be 61. Anyway, getting back to your original question, I made a video on the Dorset one, which was brilliant fun.
So these were enclosures.
Well, okay, so let's quote the person you just suggested, which was Dr. Wendy Morrison.
Yep.
Dr. Wendy Morrison's great. She gives me, at the moment, she's like this consultant. I really need to start paying her. Genuinely, because she's great.
You heard it here
I
first.
heard it here first, Wendy.
You heard it here first, Wendy.
I didn't say that loud. Anyway, Dr. Wendy referred to them as enclosures.
Yep.
Now, I'd read a whole bunch of info on this from studies from the 50s and the 80s.
Yeah.
And they kind of said, like, okay, long barrows were built first, and then soon after, they built this cursus.
Yeah.
So I kind of went with that as I've no reason to question any archaeologists that did all these studies back then. Wendy, however, shall I read you what she wrote for me? Because it's kind of fascinating. Talk amongst yourselves for about 12 seconds.
Right, so long barrows were first.
So yeah, exactly right. And then the cursuses or something. Cursi, whatever, were demarking the route between them on this particular Dorset case. Right, so like demarcating the route between them, perhaps. That's what this archaeological study in the 80s suggested. Because it all kinds of added up. However, some of it didn't add up. And Dr. Wendy suggested, I shall read. Cursuses are typically early Neolithic enclosures, but often with later phases. That's true in the case of the Dorset one because there were two phases. We don't know how far apart they were. Could be 50 years, could be 200 years. They are enclosures we often associate, get this, with rivers or confluences of rivers. There's a lot of commonalities with their alignments as well, suggesting ceremonial use of the enclosures. These ceremonies may include, but not limited to, funerary rites. There may not need to be a long barrow element with the cursus monument. So that's fascinating because that's true.
Okay. I mistakenly said Hillfort. I meant long barrow. So the video you did, the long barrow was, there was long barrow inside.
There was more than one inside. Right, so there's one at either end.
Yeah.
Sort of in a line with the end. There was at least one in the middle. There's one on top of Gussage down. Gussage down. You just take your drone to Gussage down, Hedley.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on there. Take your drone to Gussage down, especially on a frosty day. There's one right in the middle of the cursus, like perpendicular to the cursus, but right in the middle of it, like that. And there was another and an alignment with it, sort of built on top of it on one of its banks.
Yeah.
And another one at the other end. So quite a few.
So were they sort of habitual? Were they places that were lived in?
Well, I guess we don't know. There's been lots of Neolithic pottery found.
Yeah.
So that indicates that they did live there somewhere. They had pottery in there, I guess.
But it sounds to me almost like, like other settlements where you have like you got the long barrows where they bury the significant people, not necessarily everyone, but the significant people. And they were always in a prominent place. So again, layman historian here. I'm not a historian at all.
Likewise,
I'm a member of the public. But if you look on the downs, so if you take any sort of long barrow like West Kennet, like the one at above the Westbury Horse, like the Wayland Smithy, minus the trees because they probably wouldn't have been there. That puts them all on the visible brow of the hill.
Yes.
Not necessarily on the top, but from the valley where the people would have lived, they can see the outline of the long barrow on the horizon on the hill.
Yes.
Now, so long barrows were obviously deliberately placed in areas that were visible to the relevant people.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if these, again, speculation obviously, these cursuses were long, sort of elongated rectangles that were enclosures that people probably lived in or at least, met and ate in. Then the long barrows would have been positioned within that in a place that would have been prominent to everyone else.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that in mind, so when you go to the end of the first phase of one of the cursuses, the Dorset cursus, which is like 2/3 of the way along, and you look towards Gussage Down from 2 miles away, as you say, top of the hill, you can see the long barrow.
Yeah.
And on the 21st of December, the sun sets behind it, winter solstice.
Really?
From the end of the cursus. So cursus to Gussage Down.
Yeah.
You've got that view. And on the 21st of December, the sun sets right behind it in perfect alignment with where you're stood within the cursus. That's mental, right?
I've saved a little bit going on alignments. I'm going to go off on a slight tangent now, if that's okay.
But, you can't find what you find because what's fascinating is Dr. Wendy Morrison suggests that the cursus was built before the long barrows. So kind of what you're saying is correct, where you're saying, so they then put them within the curses to kind of go, actually, well, we're going to put it here because the curses is important to us for whatever reason. We're going to put it here, it's visible. We're going to put another one halfway along it, and we're going to put two other end. So that really works for me. When you think about it, it's logical. Right?
That begs the question, if you think of other long barrows that we know of, whether or not from the air we can identify a cursus around those.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the Ridgeway ones, because
they could be the Ridgeway themselves.
They got the Ridgeway themselves, but barrows that we know of in valleys and fields and everything, might be worth having a look at a bit of LiDAR around some of those as well.
Yeah.
So again,
the big curses project.
From my point of view, it's all layman stuff,
Yeah, it's true. Well, why not?
I bunked history.
I mean, I got a C.
Did you?
In GCSE.
I used to aspire to a C in anything.
Well, I was really pleased. That was unexpected. Let me put it that way. That was unexpected.
Yeah. So with alignments then, in the last episode, I made a fairly bold statement and looked into it about every hill fort that I know of seems to have an eastern entrance.
Yep.
So I've been asking relevant people and AI and stuff like that whether this is a thing, particularly AI. And it's come back saying, yes, there does appear to be a general trend, though it's important to remember that it's not an absolute rule. It's been observed that in southern England, particularly when hill forts have a single entrance, it often tends to face east. If there are two entrances, one frequently faces east and, where possible, the other west. Okay. This pattern is noted by sources like Historic England, which suggests that it may reflect Iron Age beliefs extending even to the layout of contemporary farmstead enclosures. It says defense and other factors were defensive considerations were also paramount. Entrances were often designed to create killing zones where attackers would be at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Also, as stated previously somewhere, even though I don't seem to have read that bit out, solar alignment and prevailing wind direction. So you think westerly winds?
Yeah.
May have been factors.
Okay, that works.
So it says, therefore...
And that's historic.
Yeah, it does... no, this is AI. But it does say...
they quoted Historic England.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
So they said, therefore, there is a tendency for Eastern orientations, though it's not a rigid rule. It's more accurate to say that it was a common practice, likely influenced by a combination of practical and perhaps cultural factors.
Okay, that kind of adds up, doesn't it?
That's... Yeah, so...
Adds up nicely.
That's that makes a degree of sense. I mean, we got prevailing. Well, I mean, we're talking about southern England here. I don't know about northern England.
Yeah,
and we're also talking about southern Wales. But certainly, those factors would go some way to explaining the eastern entrance. I can see with the wind. You know, you don't want wind blowing into an enclosure.
Yeah.
So
I like the whole killing zone thing as well, because Danebury. Again, it's got that kind of east-west-ish. It's got certainly one main entrance on the west side, northwest-ish, like a lot of the Ridgeway ones. And it's got, like, let's say I call it a very smaller version of the Maiden Castle entrance, which is a bit messy for a reason. And they've got a whole area where I don't know what his name is, Barry Cunliffe. He said, this is where they put all their chariots. So it was within the outer walls, but outside of the inner walls. And they had a maze of bits, but they had quite a flat bit there. And he said, this is where they put all their chariots. I was like, that's kind of cool. But maybe, like a zone where the enemy was kind of forced to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know quite how it works. I mean, I don't think there's any difference fighting to the east than there is the west. But in terms of putting your enemy where you want them. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that was the thing. I don't know. Regardless of east or west, it was still maybe like you say, you're building a hill fort. Well, everybody that builds hill forts does them like this. So this is how we have to do them, east-west.
But then I don't know where the prevailing attackers came from. If the hill forts had been Saxon, which obviously they're not, then the east would make sense because the Danes are always coming from the east, and you want to spot them. And but
the thing is as well, this is the fascinating
further
thing.
Back, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right, because you assume most hill forts, or the majority of hill forts, were built sort of early Middle Iron Age, right? So let's say 800 to 400 BC.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know anything about that era in terms of the people, right? Because all our talk of, like, I don't know, the Durotrigas tribe, the Belgi, the Briganti, all of that, the Canti, the Atrebates, all of those tribes, we only know because of the Romans and coins. And that was any time between, let's say, 100 BC to when the Romans actually finally successfully invaded the country. So we've only got 150 years of what the Romans said. That's it. Right? So, and now most archaeologists now say that all of the hill forts were out of use by then. And I love this because you kind of put together in your head, you think, hang on a minute, all these tribes had these hill forts. Well, hang on a minute, you think, we just think that, I go to Danebury and go, well, this was the Belgi tribe. But it wasn't, because we don't know that. We only know the Belgi tribe from what the Romans told us. And by that time, they'd already left all of their hill forts and there were just farmsteads everywhere.
Yeah. But it said it included farmsteads in there.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it did, didn't it?
We need comments. So if you're listening / watching on the YouTube version of this, then please do comment on if we've missed any factors. Why are so many hill forts in the south of England and South Wales, by the looks of it, have eastern entrances? And we've gone through a few reasons there, but is there something we've missed 2,000 years ago? Is there something obvious? Is it just the prevailing wind direction? Don't know.
Yeah, kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess so the point is, we don't know who they'd be fighting.
No.
So, because there are, in Maiden Castle, there's loads of bodies with evidence of fighting, right?
Yeah.
Not way before the Romans. So these tribes were obviously fighting against each other in some way. But I don't know, who knows? Who knows what the tribal layout was of that time? Like I said, we've got the layout now, the late Iron Age, with coins, with what the Romans said. That all works.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything previous to like 100, 150 BC in terms of what they were called, where their layout was. Maybe it does go back. Maybe it does translate, and they were very, tribal for 1,000 years. Fascinating, though.
It is fascinating.
And why build? Where did that notion? I wonder where the Uffington's early, right?
Uffington is really an early one, yeah. It's
like 800 or 900 BC.
Earlier Iron Age rather than...
Yeah. So I wonder where that idea came from. I wonder we're the first people to do this.
Yeah. It's a funny one. And again, the answer's probably buried somewhere deep in their actual reason for being.
Yes.
And we've speculated on that. We've said maybe they were places for storing goods. Maybe they were trading places.
Yeah,
maybe
all of those things.
Yeah, or places people lived and were defended. We just don't know. So, well, I don't know. I'm not a historian, but
it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is fascinating.
It's nice to ponder with a little bit of logic and science. We're not historians or academics, but it's nice for me and Hedley to go, right, well, we're acknowledging we're not historians and academics, but we're trying to use as best knowledge as we can to come up with our own little sort of note. And that's a beautiful thing. I think that's okay, as long as you're not being silly about it.
No, I'm attached to a hill. I camped on a hill fort 3 weeks ago.
Which hill fort's that?
That was Crug Hywel, Table Mountain in Wales. And that's where I'm going again tomorrow.
Okay.
I've got a slight addiction to the place.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm going to be recording the next Hills and Hill Forts video.
Yep.
3-4 weeks ago when I was there, I was recording for my main Hedley Thorneh channel, the Wild Camp. And oh boy, the sunrise. Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I was absolutely on my ragged edge going up there. I was carrying 20 kilograms. That's 44 pounds of equipment up a mountain, and I didn't think I was going to make it. And then at the top, it was blowing a hoolie. Had to get the tent up, but it was such a great adventure. And I'm so drawn to the place that I'm going back tomorrow. Then hopefully in 3 weeks' time, going back with Anna to climb up to the top at Pencerrig Cal, which is over 700 meters.
Right.
And I just absolutely love the place. But even that's got an eastern entrance. It's got one entrance, and that's the east. And you look at it, it's on top of a mountain, let's say. It is a pointy thing that's obviously clearly been somewhat flattened to make this hill fort.
Yeah.
So they could put the entrance on any side because it's awful wherever they put it. It's not ideal. So they just dumped it on the eastern side again.
Yeah, see, there must have been
maybe it's something to do with the rising sun. I don't know.
Yeah, there must be something that stuck with everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless of your tribe, your area, they all did the same thing.
Yeah. So what are these, going to another video of yours, these pots, clay
pots. I made such a big mistake in that video.
Really?
Huge mistake. because I showed a graphic
Yeah.
of the side of one, then I showed a graphic of the top of one, just to give you an idea of the profile and the plan view of it, right?
Yeah.
Stupidly, then I moved the plan view on top of the profile view, and everybody assumed it was a pot. When it's not, and that's my own fault, but it's not a pot.
So I've made the mistake.
It's a lump of chalk. Yeah, but you've done it based on what you saw, which was me stupidly putting this plan view on top of the profile view, so it looked like you were putting. It's a lump of chalk. Right. There is no pot. So everybody rightly assumed, because I'm an idiot, that it was a pot. And I'm like, oh no, what a mistake! I shouldn't have done that. I should have described it more. Said this is a solid lump of chalk, but carved into this.
Yeah.
You know.
And again, there was no real conclusion as to
because there's not only four have been found. 4 have been found,
yeah.
Now Mike Parker Pearson and Anne Tether, I think her name is, have a theory that it's a measuring device, which is just I'm struggling with it because there's a lot of assumptions and a lot of what it doesn't add up in any way for me, and I want to be very open-minded, but I'm struggling with that one. Somebody came up with it could be a weight. And I like that. Okay, sort of a standard measuring weight for like I don't know, some grain or something. I'll give you this much grain in exchange for whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
But only 4 have been found.
Yeah.
Or 5.
There's obviously more out there, but
Yes.
But yeah, it's an interesting one. I like it when you pick up on these little things that, we just don't know, but you can provide some good sort of suggestions for.
Well, I try and find an academic paper where someone's taken it really seriously and given a good sort of, well, here's some good science to suggest that this could be what it is.
Yeah.
And the only academic paper out on this was this one by Mike Parker Pearson, who suggested that the Falkland drums, 3 of them, had been used as measuring devices. So if you measure them, one of them, it goes this. And here's the trouble, right? Because you read the part of the paper and it says, take the biggest drum, well, it wraps around exactly 7 times. Yeah. Take the next size, it wraps around exactly 8 times. And the next size down, it wraps 10 times. Yep, that's amazing. What a coincidence. Can't be a coincidence, must be true. When you read this scientific paper, it's not true. So the claim that was made isn't true because it doesn't wrap round exactly 7 times. It's 7.126. Next one is 8.4. Next one is 10. It's like, so the whole theory that I thought, oh my God, that's amazing, isn't actually a thing. Because they don't wrap around it a set amount of times. So it's like, oh, for goodness sake.
No.
So it doesn't add up at all for me.
No.
But
it's still interesting.
It's interesting. And the greatest one is probably in my head, the Roman dodecahedron. Yes. The shape with the random little nodules on it. Now that's bonkers.
Quite an advanced looking thing as well, isn't it?
It's an advanced looking thing. It's made out of all kinds of nice metals. It's got holes in that go in a certain increase in size in a certain way. And everybody says with assertion, it is this without doubt. Here's a video. Or it is this without doubt. Here's a video. So there's 4 different theories out there at least.
Yeah.
And everyone backs one because they saw a video on it.
Yeah.
It's for knitting gloves. Here's the video.
It's kind of that old thing, isn't it? That if there's something that's open to interpretation, you're more likely to go with the first explanation that you come up with.
And try changing someone's mind.
Exactly. So, if there's 3 different explanations for an object and you see 3 different videos, you're going to be more engaged with the first video anyway. Yeah. And you're going to go, oh yeah, that's credible. And then you're going to be the second video, you're going into the but
it doesn't fit, does it? Yeah.
And it doesn't matter which order you watch them in. It's usually the first one that has the biggest impact.
Yeah.
That's the way I think about it. So,
and that's right. And people just, no, that is definitely what it is. But, again, you've got to remain open-minded because there's so many different factors. People say it's a weapon. It's definitely a weapon. It's clearly a weapon. Obviously, it's a weapon. You're like, but what? Why would that be a weapon? But, found within context of the Roman period in what would be described as only sort of the Celtic, let's say, or Gaul, Belgium areas. So none have been found in Italy, for example. Yet they're all contemporary with the Roman era. So let's say they've all been found within context of Roman stuff.
So just describe one, because
it's a dodecahedron, which is a 12-sided object.
Yeah,
and every single corner has like a ball stuck on it.
Yeah,
and they've got every side has got a hole in, and the holes increase in sizes until it sort of repeats itself again. And yeah,
the simple fact is the Roman era was such a grandiose thing that it could be anything.
It could be anything, but why have none been found in Rome? Or anywhere in Italy? Or anywhere that was, North Africa? Anywhere that was very heavily, this is Rome unequivocally. This is part of the Roman Empire. Yeah, up here in Britannia, we're kind of on the provinces, but that's where they were found. In these sort of areas, which were predominantly prior to the Romans. They were very sort of Celtic in their, None have been found in actual physical proper Rome, let's say.
No.
So you think, well, is it actually a Roman object then? Yes, it's of the Roman era.
It's of the Roman era, but
is it a Roman object? Is it actually a long-held tradition? And that's the beauty of it. Until we find more and have more context, because there's 128 of these have been found, so quite a few, but only 1 or 2 have proper context because they've recently been found. Go back to 1950s or before, and you don't have a lot of context because archaeology wasn't brilliant and it didn't really layer stuff and analyse stuff and look at it. It's just...
We seem to have, with the Iron Age and the Roman Age, more questions than we do facts. Well, and the Trump Age, obviously, but that's something completely different, isn't it? But we just seem to have more... the more you look at something, the more questions there are.
Yeah. Which is great though, isn't it? I like that.
Oh, it's great. It's great, and finding out the answers or probable answers is a real joy. I mean, I've been trying to do it on a different subject around where I live near Lowbury Hill. Yeah. So Anna and I are doing a project on Grimm's Ditch, and I'm also helping Historic England out with a project at the moment on the Ridgeway.
I saw some shots.
Yeah, I've been doing just throwing drones up in the sky and that sort of malarkey. But the Grimm's Ditch project we're doing. Well, question 1, where did the ditch go?
Yeah.
In our area, there's bits of it that are mapped and bits of it that are not mapped.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, so you're trying to find the lowland bits which might have been ploughed out or whatever. So
using the drone, we found about 1.5 miles of Grimm's Ditch that's not mapped, running along South Africa, South Oxfordshire.
That's a long ditch.
That's a long, all the elephants roaming the Berkshire Downs and, But I mean, you can see where the ditch was, but there's no way of proving that's the ditch. It's fairly clear that it links the existing bits of the ditch up, and you can see it from the air. So the first thing I'm doing is creating a map of where the ditch went. Or my interpretation of where the ditch went, and then we've got to start photographing it, and then Anna will paint some of those photographs and so on and so forth, and hopefully come together with some kind of exhibition. In the next year or 2. But it's going to be a difficult one for me because I don't think photographs of a ditch are very sellable. In big, heavy, hand-built frames.
Yeah, well, from drone point of view, no.
So I'll probably end up putting a screen in with my pictures rotating and then maybe a QR code if you want to buy one.
You should do more exhibitions because that was great fun.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
it takes so much out.
Yeah, of course it does.
It really does. I mean... Anna and I, if you include the Oxfordshire Art Weeks, we've probably done 5-6 exhibitions.
Yeah.
But of the exhibitions we've done, the 2 biggest ones by far are the Wessex Airscapes.
Yeah.
And, the last one being at the Wiltshire Museum. And, you're looking at, with that place, you're looking at a high footfall anyway. And we had, RAC signs around the town as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's so much to organise and... insure and so on and so forth, and of course you've got all the other activities associated with the exhibition. It is like a full-time job just putting it together. It's really good fun. That. It was great fun, and I can't wait to do the next one. I think the next one will be smaller.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's taking. I mean, it didn't really affect my job because I work anyway, just at set days and hours. Yeah. But Anna herself had to take a lot of time out of her.
But isn't that not what she does, though? I don't know. But
most of her work is commission work. But
I see.
But it's not just painting a picture by a long chalk. It's the logistics of it are pretty eye-watering.
Getting them there and sorting all
arranging them, and then you've got to arrange all the artifacts as well, and everything has to be agreed with the museum itself.
Yeah, and
then you've got questions like insurance and stuff like that. And then everything else around it, and the emails that go back and forth to organise these things, eye-watering.
Yeah, but it's easy for me to just look at it and go,
Well, that's
Anna,
the
you
trick,
paint a
right?
picture. Hedley, you take
That's
some
the trick.
photos, stick them on the wall, and
Yeah.
we'll all come over and have some
You
great
want
fun.
people, from the public's point of view, that's what you want. You want people to turn up at one of these exhibitions, and it's a lovely, clean room with, pictures put very carefully around the side that you can look at will. You create a nice peaceful environment. You have a little bit of background music, maybe that video rolling, nice peaceful video. But what people don't see is the amount of effort to get it like that is absolutely huge. And then even just little things like hanging the pictures. I mean, these things they're really, really heavy.
Really?
One of the artworks, it would take two of us to lift.
Right.
And you've now got to attach that to the wall, and it's got to be perfectly in line with all the
Yeah,
others.
of
Robust, not fall down, and yet you've got to be able to take it down when you have to. And and then all the documentation around it has to be of similar sort of marketing, same font, same background pictures.
Yeah.
It's almost like starting up a temporary company.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's a good point.
But I love doing it. Absolutely love doing it. And we've both had a couple of years off. I think family stuff's got in the way a little bit. But now we're just, as we're coming around to spring, we're saying, right, where do we need to start looking to photograph? What are we looking at from a photograph?
Can you not use some back catalogue stuff as well? I mean, I'm just talking from the point
I
of
do
view.
have some Grimstitch. There was one.
Okay. You're talking about just. I'm talking about just the exhibition in general.
Yeah.
Because it's just like
one idea I have, but it's a long shot and it's a long way away, is to do one on South Wales, because I think some of the colours, some of the this is, for example, tomorrow I'm going near the top of the mountain. There's this lovely stream that splashes down the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
It goes down into this really deep, dark valley, and in the background you've got the pyramid of the Sugarloaf Mountain.
Yeah.
And then you've got sort of the other mountains opposite. And the colours and the variety, I mean, it's just a painting right there.
Yeah,
the photograph, a standard iPhone photograph looks like a painting.
Yeah.
So there's opportunities there, but you've got to have more than just prettiness. You need story behind it. You need a reason why you're doing it in that area.
Yeah.
And the Grimsditch is the opposite. So you've got a lot of talking points about it. You've got a lot of history, a lot of intrigue about it as well.
Yeah.
But it's a ditch.
Yeah.
And a photograph of a ditch is not going to make people go, "Oh wow, look at that ditch."
Yeah.
So this will be one where we're not making any kind of a real profit or anything like that.
Yeah.
But something that's more of an intrigue on history rather than pretty pictures everywhere, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Wiltshire was easy because Wiltshire is just beautiful.
Take a picture in any direction.
You can go anywhere in Wiltshire and get some good photos and turn that into a good painting.
Yeah.
But a ditch running along the A34, and I'm not sure. But I have got some pictures from before, and I think if we do it the right way, I think we can definitely make it look appealing.
Yeah, I do. I completely get what you're saying in terms of Grimm's Ditch.
Yeah. So it's a great talk, and you've always got to have that balance with photography. I've noticed that, if you're at an exhibition, you tend to get intrigue in the pictures, and you actually sell pictures as well.
Yeah.
But every picture's got to have a story behind it. You've got to explain, when I took this picture, as you can see over to the right, the sun's going down.
Yeah.
You can feel the warmth on your right. You can feel the cold on your left.
Yeah.
You can see the breeze. You can hear the river, the ducks on the river and so on and so forth. And, you can say, and that's when I was chased by a dog. And I'd just taken that picture, and 2 minutes later it was raining.
Yeah.
You've always got to have something. You've got to explain what it was like at the time, not just the history behind it, but you've got to have an experience where you're doing the photography.
Yeah. Fair enough. So that's the exhibition's going to be on Grimm's Ditch.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So we've got quite a few ties with Grimsditch. We've got your excellent video, of course. And we...
made possible by Dr. Wendy Morrison.
Yeah.
I say made possible, but
we will definitely be talking to.
Well, certainly aided significantly by Dr. Wendy Morrison.
Yeah, Dr. Wendy, if you're listening to this, has at least a pint in it. Maybe
at
in
least,
Dorchester.
half to a pint.
I'd say a pint with her in Dorchester, and there's more there if we can get any more information on Grimsditch. So of course, on the exhibition, you want other stuff. You want people there giving talks.
I think
stuff like that. Maybe associated walks as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not just about selling the pictures; it's about creating an event that people
whole
look
thing.
back on.
Well, that's doable, isn't it?
Oh, it's very doable. Yeah. Very
I'd come along just for the enjoyment, Eddie, because I really enjoyed it. Like I'm talking about the one you did last time, where I just rocked up and pretended I was famous for 5 minutes and went, yay! It's great fun. I love it.
I love it when I'm standing there talking to a load of people, and then the Paul Whitewick comes up and everyone buggers off and talks to him instead. Yeah, I remember that one too.
We should tell you that. Yeah, let's. Do it, Hedley. Do it. I can't. I'm excited, even though you haven't done it yet.
Okay. All right. I promise we'll make a start on that. Mate.
Yeah, make a start. That's cool.
Right.
Ditch is great.
Yes.
Basically, I think I think we should do, Hedley.
Yep.
I'm just for the non-viewers.
Yes.
I'm just getting my Bing Maps.
Oh God.
Which allows me, as you probably know by now, to view OS maps online.
For users, listeners listening on Spotify, on the middle right of your screen, there's an arrow that says +15. Every time you press that, it gets 15 seconds towards the end of the podcast. So if you don't like Treasure Hunt, now's the time to start pressing that arrow.
You can press J and L.
J and L.
On YouTube has got the J and L button. J goes back 10 seconds because that's probably what they're going to want to do. Because they're going to want to hear this again because it's that good content.
Okay.
And L goes forward 10 seconds. K pauses. I'm a mind of useless information.
Something. Right.
Speaking of which, can I read you a comment, Hedley, which is really funny?
Oh, no. Yeah, go on then.
I think I've just screenshotted it. It's exactly what you were just talking about. I hope I screenshotted it. Oh, I didn't. That's annoying.
Okay, it's fine.
Someone just put, "What are you smoking? You've just made a 15-minute video on something you can't see." That's it. 250,000 views in 2 days. Who's the fool?
Oh, right. Okay. So
right.
Let's start in the centre of hell, Andover.
Andover, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
So I've got an OS map up on my phone.
Andover. We're in Andover right now, Hedley.
We are in Andover right now.
Yeah.
It's you've got an exceptional...
I don't know. I don't know about anything exceptional.
Shell garage was
exceptional. Shell garage. Did you come in via the Newbury Road?
I don't know.
Did you come from the north? I guess is the first question.
Yeah, I came from the north.
Yeah. So did you? Yeah. Then you come down Newbury Road. So the shell. What garage? Esso.
People are really turning off now, aren't they? It's like,
no. This is quality content.
It's not quality content. It's dire. Right. So just to add to that, Andover.
Okay.
Can we use existing roads? Because I don't have a historic map in front of me.
Oh, well, fine.
Yeah.
Andover's got a lot of Roman roads. It's got a pilgrimage route. It's got the Harrow Way. It's got old railways.
I was thinking more of like the A34 and stuff
God.
like that.
All right. Well, the Andover doesn't go within 7 miles of the A34, Hedley. Come on, get with the picture.
Yeah.
Right. A3. I can't say free. People pronounce it. You can't say free. What can you say free properly?
Free.
A343.
Okay.
Which goes back your direction.
Yeah. Okay. So I think. Okay, that's sort of warm or cold.
Fine. Well, let's just keep going along it for the minute.
343. Yeah.
343, and I'm going to get to a juncture where I could turn in one of the opposite directions. Hell, whatever. We're on the A34. Right, up the A34.
Up the A34.
To Chieveley Services.
Right, stop. You've done well. That's a good move.
Right, Chieveley Services.
You're now at Chieveley Services, so you've effectively got a crossroads.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Because, seeing as you want to be a bit boring and use, Bussock Camp Fort. Never heard of Bussock.
Bussock Camp Fort.
I mean, you can't get there. It looks like it's all private in a private wood.
Drone can get there.
Yeah, well, look to the west of Chieveley Services, about a mile.
Okay. Oh, yes, there's a fort.
Bussock Camp. Never heard of it.
Bussock Wood. Do you know, I think that's got an entrance as well.
Has it? But it looks very private, Hedley. As in, it's not open access and there's no pathways.
Okay, OS is suggesting there's but do you know what? I might look at that next time. I might even look at that on the way home.
Because that's a hill fort, right? I mean,
it's definitely on a hill. It's
and
a
look
horrible
how close
cycle ride.
That is.
Yes, it has got an entrance. I know. There's a place. Yeah, I know. I'm going to have a look at Bussock Camp Fort. Anyway, let's go back to the modern
Chieveley
roads.
Services. I've just
Chieveley Services. Are we north, east, south, or west?
Right. So I'll head west.
Oh, good. You're getting warmer.
Right, along the M4. This is no one wants to go along the M4, Hedley.
Well, I think they do. Going along the M4 westbound is a treat because you're either going to Cornwall, Devon, Wales, or somewhere like that, somewhere nice.
Or Bristol.
And Bristol. If you're going east on the M4, for me, that's just going to work. So
I've gone a long way.
Go on then.
I've gone a long way. I'm nearly in Bristol.
Keep going.
Really?
Yeah,
you're going to another country.
We like the M4.
Do I need my passport?
No.
Really?
No.
Well, if I'm going past Bristol, Hedley, I'm going to need a passport to get into Wales.
You're going to need an interpreter. But It's alienated so many people.
How about the Prince of Wales Bridge?
Right, stop.
Before
you're very close.
Oh, should I? Well, really?
You're
New
very,
passage.
very close.
So
May I
gone
suggest you backtrack by 1 mile and take another decision?
Really?
Yeah.
Are you thinking going south along the weird motorway?
No.
A bit further back. All right. No. Only a mile.
Go back to the M48 and M4 junction.
Oh, I see. You reckon go north?
Yeah.
Oh, Oust.
Oh, right. You're pretty much on it there.
All right.
What historical thing is there?
There's an album cover of Bob Dylan with him stood on the Oust Ferry thing.
Kind of. Well, we can start with the Oust Ferry. We're actually looking at a rather bigger construction there.
Really, I've done one specific video, Hedley, on the Deadly Seven crossings.
You have.
And there's loads of stuff going on there, right?
You have.
All sorts.
And you're absolutely in the right area because I'm talking about the Severn suspension bridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
the first one.
The first one, the proper one.
The proper one.
All proper one. I say that proper one. So, I mean, you're right. There used to be a ferry crossing there. So from Oust.
Yeah.
This was actually inspired. I've only got a few bits on this, but it was inspired by a video fairly recently by Jen on the Move, who did. Jen walked right across the Severn Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Went to the viewpoint and then went along Severn Beach, looking at where the Oust ferry used to go into the water. Now, I wouldn't encourage anyone to go to that bit now because where there used to be a nice footpath. Now it's basically reeds and sinking mud and stuff like that.
I've been there, yeah, I've been there. Is there no footpath anymore?
Sorry?
Is there no footpath anymore?
There's kind of a track going along parallel with the coast.
Yeah.
But where you used to be able to go down the actual jetty itself, that's all now...
It's a mess.
It's a mess, yeah. I wouldn't do that.
I've got some nice drone shots, I think, of that old jetty, like going above it, looking across it.
Yeah.
From that video.
I'd love to do a drone thing. And I've had a look, it's category G airspace, so you can.
Yeah, you can do yeah.
So basically the bridge replaced the Oust ferry. Because obviously if you're going to Wales by car and there are not bridges there, you're looking at going all the way up Cheltenham, Gloucester, and then all the way down. So, yeah. I remember we got a phrase that some of us say, that there are 3 ways to wreck a country. You can either invade it, we'll call that the Russian way. You can bomb it, or you can set up direct regular flights from Gatwick to it. And I think that may apply a little bit to the Severn Bridge, because before the Severn Bridge, the south of Wales was still industrial, but not as developed the way it is now with the big road systems and everything. But anyway, it replaced the Oust Ferry 8th of September 1966, opened by Her Majesty the Queen.
Okay.
So the Severn Bridge is actually, if you look at it in its total, it's actually 4 bridges. So you've got basically a viaduct you go onto where the tolls used to be. They were taken down fairly recently. And then you're onto the main suspension bridge itself.
Yeah.
And then when you get down the other side, then you are on another viaduct.
Yeah.
And then you go over the Y Bridge. Now, the Y Bridge in its own right it's a cable stayed bridge.
Yeah.
Goes over the River Wye. And it goes over where the River Wye empties into the Thames. Well, it's confluence. Thames, Severn.
Yeah.
But obviously it's completely overshadowed by the much bigger Severn Bridge itself.
Yeah.
Which is a proper suspension bridge. Then, of course, 1996, the second Severn crossing was built, which is basically a big viaduct bridge with a short cable-stayed bridge across the shipping lane. So it is bigger, it's wider, it's 6 lanes instead of 2.
Yeah.
It might even be 8 lanes, I can't remember. But it's much bigger.
Nah, 6, I reckon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about the same height. And the Severn Bridge itself, the suspension bridge, used to carry the M4, so it was a quick way of getting into South Wales. But as the number of cars on the road went up, volume of cars went up, they needed a second crossing. And, of course, you've got between the 2 crossings, you've got the railway tunnel under the estuary as well.
Yeah.
The actual bridge itself is 1 mile long. It used to be kind of a slate grey colour, but it's now a sort of a white colour. The main span is 988 metres, which is 3,240 feet, which is roughly the same. If you turned it on its side, make it the same height as Scafell Pike. The height of the 2 towers are 445 feet, or 136 metres. So if you ever see someone taking drone footage looking down on it, they're breaking the rule because they can only go up to 400 feet.
Yeah.
And then the clearance underneath the bridge is 47 metres.
Yeah.
And it says here that the deck of the bridge is an orthotropic steel box girder. The towers themselves are hollow. And then the main cables are made up of 8,322 individual wires, each of which has got a 5mm diameter. So the traffic volume's gone down on the bridge over the years, so down to about 18,000 vehicles a day, which is sort of similar to, I'd say probably something like the A34 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because obviously most of the traffic now goes over, I think it's now called the Prince of Wales Bridge.
Yes, it's always been called the Prince of Wales Bridge, I think.
Yeah.
But you get a few people get a bit gnarly. I had someone just the other day actually get a bit funny with me about calling it that.
I always remember the suspension bridge from when I was a kid. I used to love going to Wales, still do, obviously. And it was always exciting to see the towers looming in the car window. Yeah. And then you're on the bridge, and next thing you know, you're in a different country. And so. Also
marks very close to the start of the Offa's-Dyke Trail.
So
your bridge, let's say 2 kilometres north.
Yes, it must do, because that follows the River Wye, right?
For a croc way away, So it starts right on the coast.
Yeah.
Literally 2 miles up from the M48 bridge. Yeah. And I went there a little while ago when we made that film, actually. And there's a big stone at the top of the cliff, because there's a big cliff there.
Yeah.
And it says, there's a big old stone saying the start of Offa's Dyke. Now, I went there and I remember having my camera on there, like filming a bit of Ola or whatever. And these 2 women came up to me and said, would you mind moving your camera? Because we're just about to walk the Offa's Dyke path to North Wales. And we just want to take a selfie next to it. I'm like, oh, crikey, sorry. So, there are people walking it, proper walking it.
Yeah. So that must track up then up to, it bed round towards the Black Mountains.
Yeah. So
and then up along Hay Bluff up along. Yeah, there's a great YouTube channel called Wye Valley Explorer. So that's WYE.
Okay.
And he does lots and lots of adventures along the River Wye Valley. So Simmons Yap, places like that.
Yeah,
really good. But I was having a discussion with Mr. Warren from Linley's about. We went for a walk up the Cat's Back, which is up to Black Hill.
Black Mountain.
Black Hill.
Not Black Mountain.
No.
Why not Mountain?
Because you got the so you got the Black Mountains in the east of the Brecon Beacons.
Yes.
Within which you've got Black Mountain and Black Hill. Over to the west of the Brecon Beacons, you've got Black Mountain, and then in the middle of the Brecon Beacons, you've got Brecon Beacons. But the whole thing's called the Brecon Beacons or Banabachiniog.
Yeah. So that is.
No one can keep up with that.
No, I know where you. Well, I know where I'm thinking, because I'm thinking
where you see the Cat's Back. So it's a ridge. It's very spectacular, and I really recommend in the summer that people have a look. It's a bit fiddly to get to on road, but there's a car park at the bottom, and it takes you up this. I'm not going to say knife edge because it's not that narrow, but similar sort of that sort of ridge.
Are we talking about the same place though?
Probably not. I can't see your laptop.
I'm talking. That's a good point. I'm talking about you sent me an article.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, so that's near there.
Right.
So the point is, the Cat's Back, we were talking about the highest ground in south of England.
Yes.
Everyone says it's Dartmoor, everyone says it's High Willhays, but this is higher and it's in England.
Because, you showed me an article where the guy claims that the border's in the wrong place by 20 metres or whatever. Yeah. So, and I must do a video on that soon. Really cool.
I think that would make great video material.
But I need to find the best way up there for a
best,
lazy person like me that doesn't want to walk a long way.
There is no...
No, there's not.
Not in the Black Mountains.
I'm not suggesting I could take a car to the top. But what I'm saying is, what is the best way? And I figure if I stay in Hereford in a Premier Inn when you're up the top in a city tent, 3 metres by 1 foot or whatever... I'll be in the hotel down the bottom of the hill. I'll then drive to Hay-on-Wye.
Yeah.
And then drive south for about 3 miles.
So you're looking at the Gospel Pass there?
Then I'm looking at some kind of path, where it goes up to the Offa's Dyke path.
That's an interesting road to drive up. It's very narrow, very steep.
Is it?
So I have a better suggestion.
Do you? Good, go on then.
Is that you climb the Cat's Back.
Don't be silly, Hedley.
It's not bad. It's like Beacon Hill. Twice.
Only twice.
If you can do Beacon Hill twice.
Where would you park then?
There's a car park right there.
Right, okay.
And the views are obscenely good. You look across into, you can see the Malverns. You can see.
So where's the car park in relation to the Black Mountain?
It's to the south.
Okay.
So there's kind of a U-shaped valley. The Cat's Back goes up the eastern side of it. Sorry, U-shaped, N-shape, should we say. You go up the right-hand side of the N, which is the Cat's Back. That takes you up to Black Hill.
Yeah.
At 600 and something metres. And then you meet up with Offers Dyke as it goes on its way to Hay Bluff. And that is the current boundary between England and Wales.
Okay.
And it's touching something like 700 metres altitude, just under. So
Yeah.
that might even be over. Which would,
Which
if
is
you
very
class
high.
if you class that as the south of England, so it's level with Gloucester, then that would make that the highest ground in the south of England.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the discussion Warren and I were having. It's only when we got to the top we
Yeah.
realised we're so used to climbing the Black Mountains in Wales that actually we were in England.
Yes.
So, you know,
Okay.
it should be quite a celebrated place if you think of it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a video to follow.
Yeah. So is the boundary of the country in the right place?
Well, yeah. No, I'm going to get it's in the wrong place. England and Welsh boundary is in the wrong place. That's a video and a half.
That's
Isn't
a video. That's going
it?
to
I could just turn up, point, and get a bunch of
I
views
can
for that.
almost see the narky comments.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, do it. We'll plan that.
All I need
Yeah.
is some blue sky.
Okay. That I can't arrange. Last time I was up there, it was minus 13.
Oh my god! I mean, it's got to be moderately filmable, right?
Let me put it this way. We had a blue day up there.
Yeah.
I didn't do a video for it. Warren did. I'll send you the link later.
Yeah.
And it's real eye candy. The
Right.
landscape.
So we've got to do that.
We've
then.
got to do that.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful and dramatic landscape.
So you park on the south side of that Black Mountain ridge.
Yeah.
Off
I'll
the
show you
dark path.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your tent will be next to ours, and we'll
Yeah, and I'll be down the bottom in the Premier Inn.
the Premier Inn.
I'm going to find the closest Premier Inn or Travel Lodge or Holiday Inn or anything like that. I'm not fussy,
Just never guess that you're younger than me, would you?
and I'll meet you there after my
Fine.
breakfast.
After your breakfast.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But it's whatever. It's going to be a walk up anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. I can do Beacon Hill,
You can do Beacon Hill.
which is what 150 meters.
It's going to be how many Beacon Hill's going
Yeah.
to become the benchmark, isn't it? How
Beacon
many
Hill's
Hills?
steep though, right? Beacon Hill's stupid, isn't it?
It is.
It's not just. I mean, Beacon Hill's not that big, right?
So the first bit of climbing up there is like Beacon Hill.
Yeah.
But only for as far as Beacon Hill.
Okay, then you,
After that, it's
Yeah.
a very gentle
I'm
gradient.
fine with hills. I'm not that unfit. When I did that blooming Cursis video,
Yeah.
10.5 miles I did. Why? Because parking's disastrous. You can't. I didn't meet a soul all day. I walked all day. I didn't meet one person.
Yeah.
Largely because you can't park. There's no. I had to bribe
Yeah.
a man in a garage to park along the main road.
Yeah.
But try parking anywhere in Dorset, basically.
Should we do a couple of comments from the last
Shall we?
video?
Yeah. Before we round up, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So WC21 UK Productions Limited.
Who's that?
Is he
new?
You're not going to like this. He's
he
your
new?
northern counterpart.
Why not? Well, yeah, but there's a few good northern counterparts. Can I give a shout out?
I meant
before we
that
do
in an
comments?
endearing way, of course.
Me too.
WC21.
Of course, we love
his
WC.
videos.
We love
absolutely
WC21. Can I give it before you read out? Can I give another northern shout out? This is competition for our friend WC21 UK Productions Limited.
Oh, you won't like
Have
this.
you ever watched Adam Morgan Ibbotson?
No, I haven't.
Well, they know each other.
Yeah.
They get on well, clearly. You should absolutely watch Adam Morgan Ibbotson's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, that's all. Very similar to WC21. Not very similar in terms of the style of content at all, clearly, because who's similar to WC21? But really good content. He's an archaeologist.
Yeah.
Doing a PhD, and he makes videos every so often. Adam Morgan Ibbotson. There you go. Crikey, that's a big shout out. Adam, check is in the post. It should be in the post. If it's not, put it in the post.
So, comments. We will start with WC21. He says, in years to come, they'll talk about the Thorneh theory of hill fort entrances. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Definitely struck a chord here, haven't I? People generally saying they really, really love the new studio, as do I. It's great.
Wee.
There was a comment. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is from British Long Barrows. It's
yeah.
very interesting hypothesis on the alignment of hill forts. Could the entrance be to the east because it's the weakest defensive point of any banked enclosure? Anyone trying to breach or attack the enclosure would most likely approach at dawn rather than sunset. The alignment of the entrances would then enable the defenders to see them coming.
That's clever.
That's good.
I like that.
That's good, isn't it? That's really, really good. And we've got, I'm not going to read that one out. It's a little bit political. So great to see you boys in full fireside waffle. Okay. This is Philip Bellew 9645. Would be good to see the map off your computer. Yeah, I get that, Treasure.
I know, but this is a podcast, isn't it? So we can't always do that, can we?
Yeah. Clearly, Hedley needs more than 0% Guinness, which is what I've got here. 0% Guinness. Unfortunately. And then basically I should get a taxi back to Didcot, which is a bit of a long way for a taxi, quite expensive. So, yeah, I'm on the 0% draft Guinness now, but I think when I get home, I may crack open a hobgoblin, full fat hobgoblin. Very nice.
Cool.
So I think that's about it from the comments for now.
Wicked.
So keep the comments coming. Please like, subscribe, spread the word, and we need input from people. If you've got stuff that you want us to discuss relating to Wessex, aka the south of England, do say. And also, if you have any suggestions for my treasure hunt area, let me know directly. You can email me at hedley.thorneh@gmail.com or contact me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and every other format apart from TikTok.
And if you do find Hedley on TikTok, it's probably a fake account nicking his content.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Lovely. All right, shall we round up?
We're round up.
We've rounded up already.
We've rounded up there.
We've rounded up twice. We're rounding up the roundup.
Now we're rambling.
Big thanks to everybody for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. It's truly appreciated, as Hedley said. Love you and leave you. Goodbye.
Bye for now.